Hey everybody, my name is Marcus Wendt. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Awareness Branding Consulting. And today's video is about a recent blog post that we just published, which is called Thinking of Starting a Company, the Hottest Industries. So, before I get into the hottest industries, I want to take a moment to address the entrepreneur who's looking at starting their business from scratch. And it's touching upon what I spoke in the last video and starting with your why. Again, for those of you who saw our first video, the introduction video, you know that we are very big proponents of Simon Sinek's philosophy, starting with your why and the infinite mindset. Now, starting with your why comes from why you're in business, right? And if you talk with a lot of entrepreneurs or people who want to become entrepreneurs, one of the main reasons they start their business, or two of the main reasons why they start their business, is they want to make money, right? They want to have some sort of financial freedom, and they want to have time freedom, if that makes sense. Now, unfortunately, that is not a good enough why to start a business. Getting quote unquote rich per se and having more time, free time, doesn't really count as the why to your business. So starting with your why is really understanding why you do what you do, as Simon says, right? Simon Sinek says, why do you do what you do? What's your just cause? Why should people do business with you, right? Because you can't go and tell your customers that they want to do business with you because you told them that you want to get rich someday, right? Or you want to have more free time. It goes beyond that. So one of the biggest things that we like to advise people to do when they're in the stage of creating their businesses and helping, discover their why is really think deep and long about it. Why do you do what you do? So for example, maybe you're starting a service-based business or even a product-based business, and you want to change the lives every month of 10 high school students or people from lower income housing families, or you want to have a greater impact in the community. Whatever your just cause is, it has to make sense, and the product and or service or both that you're providing to your customer base acts as the vehicle to push that vision forward, to push your why forward, right? And I like to use Monday.com as a very good reference for a company that we believe has done a fantastic job at pushing their why. For those of you who don't know what Monday.com is, it's an all-in-one operating system platform that allows you to automate your business, right? And they became a unicorn company, and they have a $4.5 billion valuation. And we truly believe that the reason they were able to grow so fast is because of their why. And their why at Monday.com is to really allow the everyday business owner that from any walk of life to automate their business, to have everything centralized, from CRMs to workflows to lead scoring to dashboards, putting your financials in there, creating social media plans, email marketing. I mean, everything you can possibly imagine in the realm of business can all be put into Monday.com. And therefore, their why is to make the everyday business owner's life easier through automation, right? Because when you automate your business, you save more money. So again, they have a valuation like $4.34 billion. Make sure Google that, fact check me on that. But for sure it's 4 point something. And you don't get that big on accident normally, right? Or at least stick around for the long time. It's because they have a clear vision and a clear understanding and a very acute awareness to their why. And again, in our previous video that I did before this one, I had mentioned our why is, we want to become that leading place of refuge and reliability for the everyday small business owner, right? If you look at larger consulting firms that do billions of dollars, Accenture, McKinsey, Deloitte, they generally are not taking the time of day to help educate the everyday business owner. They're just not, because they're too busy with their Bank of America or JP Morgan clients they have on retainer, or these big Fortune 500 companies who have big pockets to be able to afford their services. We want to be what they are for their customers, but for the everyday person, really help people get their dreams off the ground without spending ridiculous amounts of money unnecessarily. So again, for any of you that are starting your business, really sit down and figure out, why are you doing what you're going to do? Why are you starting this business? And don't say it's to make money, and don't say it's to have more free time, because any real entrepreneur knows that when you become an entrepreneur, you have no time for anything but to work on the business, especially in the startup stages. And secondly, making money is just a result of doing business. Whether you do good business or you do bad business, in an objective, non-emotional way, making money is a product of doing business, service, product, whatever the case may be. So I wanted to take a moment to really emphasize that. So the hottest industries. We had several industries in this blog that we recently posted, but I took the top 3 that I personally enjoy, would love to do someday. If I didn't have this company and we didn't have some other companies that we also own, I would definitely dive into one of these 3. So the first one is health and wellness. We all know that we're in a pandemic, and we all know that the United States, and it's starting to get worse around the globe, health is a big concern and needs to be a top priority. We all know that obesity is a severe issue, especially in America. It's really at unprecedented levels and is very concerning and alarming. And there needs to be a more balanced emphasis on people's healths. And if you look what the coronavirus has done to most people that have unfortunately not survived the virus, if you look at their health, they tend to be not in a very healthy state, right? Unfortunately, they were obese, they had an incredible amount of underlying health conditions. It's not to say that the healthy people were exempt, because there were stories of people that were perfectly healthy and unfortunately took their lives. But if you look at the statistics and the data of the people that did succumb to this terrible virus, they were mostly unhealthy people, right? Whether it's obese or they suffered from other stuff because their lifestyle was this, or they didn't do that, or should have done this more, and what have you. The whole point is the health and wellness industry is one of the most fantastic industries you can get into, and where you can inspire and change people's lives, and you can also make money doing it. So really look at physical therapy, chiropractic, martial arts academies, whether it's MMA, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, karate. You can look at being a fitness coach, opening up a gym, doing online programs, nutritionists, dietitians. It's really limitless what you can do for health, and there's no better time than now. For those of you who are health nuts or have also identified and are aware that there's a severe health crisis issue, not just in the US, but around the world, perfect time. This is your opportunity to get in on the ground level and start providing people with ways to change their lives, inspire that, create that change, and make money doing it. So that's the first industry. The second one is restaurants, food. I personally one day want to own a restaurant. I would love to own an Asian-based cuisine restaurant, particularly Indian food or Japanese, Korean barbecue. I think food is one of those industries that brings people together, right? It forges a sense of community and networking opportunities, and just seeing that smile of satisfaction on your customers' faces after you provide them with an amazingly well cooked meal. Nothing beats that. It's priceless. And again, with the pandemic, you can start your business from scratch, start cooking at home, have amazing recipes, something that gives you a unique advantage over other people. Make sure that your experience is on point. Again, make sure you've identified your why. And that as you grow your business from your house, thanks to Uber Eats and Grubhub and all this stuff, you're able to not have to spend so much money up front on opening an actual storefront. You can proof of concept that people actually like your dishes. They can give you feedback on there. And then as you grow, you can look at investing money into opening up an actual physical location. And as the pandemic begins to wane, because we won't be in a pandemic forever, it will eventually go away. So it's about adaptation. Another thing that is really important that I want to talk about before I get into this last industry is just making sure that if you're going into the health industry, right? If you're going into the restaurant business, if you're going into the third category, which I'm going to talk about in a second, which is education and learning, that with your why and what you're doing is making sure that you're inspiring, right? So forget motivation. I think that's stupid. I think motivating people is bullshit. You need to inspire people with what you do. Okay, so make sure that whatever you do, whatever business you choose, you inspire people, because inspiration causes permanent change, where motivation it dies if you leave, or the business dies, right? So make sure you keep that important. And this is especially important as we get into the third category, which is education and learning. Everyone's now learning virtually through the platforms, the online softwares. Everything's been changed there. How kids were homeschooled now with their teachers through virtual channels. In fact, more and more people are starting to take their kids out of the public school systems and putting them into the home education programs. This is a perfect time for people who are taking on that less traditional public school system and providing more valuable curriculums, because we all know the education system, especially in America, could use a big makeover, could use an overhaul. And there's no better place to start with starting your own online education business. If you're very talented and very well knowledged and can prove it and certified and have these, have whatever proof to back up your knowledge, you can help inspire younger generations to become more educated and have a greater impact on humanity as they grow. So again, anything online educated related is a fantastic business to get into. Master classes, teaching how to cook, teaching music lessons, school curriculums, languages, consulting, anything really that is good and positive and can help inspire and create permanent change in your customers' lives, do it. And the startup costs tend to be a lot lower in most cases, unless you have to build the software from scratch. But again, we're not going to get into that. So hopefully that's given you some insight. Again, for me, the top 3 industries that I would put my money into if I didn't have what we have now would be health and wellness, would be restaurants and food, and then education and learning. So this leads me into the next part here. There's a lot of things that entrepreneurs don't understand, or people that want to take that entrepreneurial path that aren't very aware of the not so pretty stuff that we feel isn't talked about enough, because everyone's talking about, the best ways to do this, let's get successful, let's make money, here's what you can do. Yeah, well, let's talk about what's wrong in terms of the internal battles, or what can go wrong. Let's better phrase this. Let's talk about what manifests inside of us in terms of fear, self-doubt, insecurities. So if you look at the Bureau of Statistics of the Bureau of Labor, their statistics, it said in 2019, 90% of businesses failed their first year. 90%? That means for 10 of us, if there's 10 people that watch this video, 9 of you are fucked. I mean, you're gonna fail, according to that statistic. Like that in itself is very scary, right? Because what if you're putting $100,000 into it? What if you're putting $500,000 or $1 million or $5 million into it? You have 10% chance of surviving your first year. This is a horrible statistics. These are very horrible odds on paper. But again, we truly believe and we're confident that the biggest reason why most people fail that first year is because they haven't identified their why, and they didn't understand the list of risks that are involved when taking on an entrepreneurial path. And I'm going to kind of go down that list. So the first thing is, people aren't aware of the amount of leadership that's required and risk-taking when it comes to starting your business, right? As you grow your business, you have to hire people, and you have to make sure that you continue to be a beacon of light and inspiration for your employees. People don't understand that this is huge. This can make or break your company. They don't understand the sacrifice that's required. It's a very lonely path. You will feel at times depressed. You'll question yourself. You'll doubt. You'll want to quit. You want to throw in the towel. You want to say, what the fuck was I thinking? This is stupid. I should have never done this. It's about facing those times of tribulation and trial that your true abilities as an entrepreneur over the long term shine through. Do you give in to those inner demons, or do you say, nope, I'm going to push through and I'm going to figure out how to adapt? And again, this goes back to the infinite mindset. The game of business doesn't quit. Like, it never stops. You can't win at business. It's impossible to win. And if you try to maintain that mindset of, I'm going to win or I'm going to beat my competitors, you will burn out. You will go under, because you can't psychologically, physiologically, mentally sustain that kind of pressure. It will break you. Making sure that you're very aware of what's with these risks that you're taking. Again, loneliness, despair, failure, right? The fear of failing, not being able to handle the pressure and the stress. These are very, very common in an entrepreneur's life, and you have to be sure that you're ready to face that and not give up and continue to push through. And another thing is the persistence. I think a lot of people don't understand how persistent you need to be, and not just persistence by itself, but intelligent persistence. So there is a recognized jiu-jitsu coach who's very famous. I'm a very big practitioner of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, no-gi specifically, and his name was John Danaher, and he was the head coach of the Danaher Death Squad. And in one of the podcasts he had with Joe Rogan, I believe, he had said that there's a difference between being persistent and intelligently persistent. Or in other words, you can be persistent at doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you're failing. Whereas if you do something over and over again, but you realize halfway through that it's not working, you can adapt, you can change, and you're not quitting the persistence, you're still being persistent, but you're changing the direction of that persistence. So it's going in a way that's going to provide the desired result of whatever business strategy you're doing or whatever mini objective or goal that you're in the process of trying to achieve. So making sure that you're intelligently persistent, you're disciplined, you're focused, and you are always aware of what you're doing. If you're able to maintain these types of this mindset as you grow your business, there's a less likelihood that you'll end up in the 90% of the people that fail, right? The first step in improving on oneself or even your business is being aware, right? Awareness brings growth. When you're aware of what needs to be changed in the business, you change, you adapt, but you continue to be persistent. You're just doing it in an intelligent way. So hopefully this video is kind of giving you some insight into things that you can do when you're starting your business, what to really challenge yourself with. Ask yourself, make sure that you're willing to take these risks that come with being an entrepreneur before you start your venture. Again, remember, you're going to sacrifice a lot, time, doing hobbies, family, friends, whatever it may be. A lot of that has to go on the back burner while you get the company off the ground. Again, like our channel, subscribe, leave any comments in the comment section. We'll respond as soon as we can. Thank you for everybody for taking the time to do this video. These are a little bit longer than I wanted to, but hey, as long as we get relevant, helpful, educational, and more importantly, actionable content out to you, we're doing our job, right? Because we want to be that leading place of refuge and reliability for the everyday small business owner. And if we're going to do that, we have to continue to be as thorough and as in-depth as possible with the videos that we make. And I'm sorry if it's kind of boring, you want to fall asleep. I'll continue to work and make sure that it's engaging and improving as we go. Like, subscribe to our channel. Leave any comments in the section below. We'll respond as soon as we can. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully you've been able to take some actionable and insightful tips and knowledge and plans of action that you can implement in your business today. So we will see you on our next video, and thank you so much and have a wonderful day.